Hi. In this episode, single linked list, we'll be adding some code to an existing code base, and we'll be doing test-driven development in Node as usual, and we'll be using classes and methods to organize our code, Mocha and Chai for tests and expectations. Okay, let's get set up. I'm going to share this setup between all of my exercises to make it a little bit easier. So let's get going. So I'm going to create a directory to work in, app. And you see our Explorer here is keeping up with us. This is VS Code. I'm going to go into that directory, and I'm going to use Node. So I'm going to create my package.json file. There it is. It's a simple template. And let's start installing the tools I'm going to use. So, and they're going to be dev tools. So first of all, for testing, Mocha and Chai, Chai for expectations. And then ESLint and ESLint plugin Mocha, because I'm using Mocha. Alright, and then one final thing while I'm at it, I might as well install NYC for code coverage while I'm here. It's a successor to Istanbul. Okay, good, so that's the three of those. You can see our package.json file. It's got our dependencies. It doesn't do anything with our test command yet, so I need to fix that. But first of all, let's copy in this ESLint RC YAML file that I've got. And you can see here, there's a ton of rules. I love having loads of rules to guide me, you know, in errors and warnings. So it's very, very handy. I love that. All right, that's the ESLint YAML file. And here's our scripts where we want to actually put in running tests. So let's put in the actual command we're going to use, which is going to be Mocha. We'll just use the top level, anything that's called star.test.js. Okay, so we should actually be pretty close to be able to run tests. Let's try to do it with npm test. And no files found, but no actual error. So let's go ahead. We'll use index because that's what the auto generation of the package.json used. And we'll put in our index.test.js, which is actually the file it'll recognize. Alright, so it's green. No test, but the framework's there. Alright, so let's put in the other pieces now. Let's put in the linting, which is going to be our pre-test, so it's going to run before the tests can even run, and that's going to be ESLint everything. And while we're here, let's put in our code coverage, and that's going to be the NYC npm run test. So that's close to all of the pieces we need. We can run our tests again to make sure that they work, and we can run code coverage to make sure that that works. And you can see that we didn't have any files again, but this is the expected output that we've got. So we've got our linting, our testing, our code coverage, our basic files set up here, NYC output for code coverage output. So we're pretty much ready to go. So now we can go ahead and create the actual app. Alright, let's get started. So here's our existing code. And so we've got 6 passing tests. Here they are, looking pretty nice. And we've got 3 classes, very simple. Ski resort, trip, resort, and visit. Okay. And hey, let's run coverage. Nice, so 100% coverage. Linting is good. There's all those tests. Things are pretty good. Wait a minute, what is this? True equals true. Well, I've certainly seen that at work. Maybe you have. Although here there's no actual code either, and we can see there's no hidden code here that's actually doing anything else. So this functionality is actually non-existent. Yeah, everything looks green, right? So let's try getting rid of it. That didn't work. Let's force these to fail because we really want that to fail. Just as a guide while we're fixing it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we need to implement some code here, some tests rather. So we're going to need multiple resorts. So let's go for three resorts. Let's call them 1, 2, and 3. And okay, first one's Tahoe. We'll make the second one Heavenly. Yep. And we'll make the third one Sierra at Tahoe. Favorite place of mine. Whoops. Tahoe. resorts. And now let's think of the code. So let's set up. Both of these tests are multiple resorts. So let's see what we can set up. I have a for function for each. So let's call it Tahoe. It's a good name, huh? Let's say we're going to make a new visit there, and we're going to pass in resort 1 as the identifier, and we need a date as well, so we'll put that there. Okay, and so I want 3 of them, so let's do Tahoe, Heavenly, and that'll be resort 2. Oops, 2. And this will be 3. This one we'll just give the single name Sierra. Oops, Sierra. But we'll comment that out actually, and we'll put resort 2 here because it'll complain. The ledger will complain if we don't use it while we're stepping forward here. Alright. So now we've got our setup here. So now let's see. If we say we'll take our ski trip visits array and we're going to push our Tahoe and Heavenly onto that array. So we'll do that. Okay. And then now I've got to set the relationship between them. So we'll say the first visit is the ski trip visits. It's the first element, like the root. And the first visit's next is Heavenly. So that's an easy way to say it. That's what we've got in the code. Alright, so let's go and put the definition for those, because that's what it was complained about immediately. So first visit, we need to put that there. Okay. And whoa, trying to run it and got a really weird error, so that's something oh, how did that get there? Autocomplete? Alright, so I think we just needed to take that out, save that. Missing semicolon 34, as usual. Run that. Result 3 is not defined. Okay, so that's at line 13. Yeah, we need to comment it out there too. Alright, Tahoe is not defined. 30. Yeah, we need to put that. So let's put the 3 of these. We'll make a note about Sierra because we'll be coming back to do that when we're writing the test for that. Alright, true, false. So let's just run this one test because we just want to get this one working. Okay, we're still seeing a true, false here. Okay, yeah, well, we need an expectation here. So we've added these 2 resort visits. So let's check our length. Make sure that's 2 now. Ski trip. That's equal to. Okay. Nice, excellent. All right. That's the first one dealt with, but let's do some more expectations for it. I want to check out a few more things here. I'm just going to do them within one test. Not always a good practice, but I think right now it's good. So let's make sure that our first visit's resort name is Tahoe, which is what it certainly should be, having just said it. But let's make sure that that's... Yep, okay. And let's do another one for, let's make sure that, well, the date was the other thing we passed. So that should be equal to that 101 2000 value. Let's make it fail. Make sure these tests are running the right code. Yep. Failing first. Okay. So passing. Okay. And then one more. We want to test the relationship. So let's look at that first visit. First trip. No, not trip. Like I said, first visit. Sorry. All right. So that's connected to the next one. So let's look at the result name of the next one. So from Tahoe, that should be Heavenly. All right. All right. So that tests all of that. Wow, just worked on the first time. All right. So that's one down. Now for the second one. It's actually that last expectation there. We've already kind of done it. So let's we want to have the test laid out this way. That was given to us. So let's just pull that down in here. It's going to be the same setup. So we're going to want to pull all this up into the before each. So we'll grab all of that, stick it in there. So that'll work for both, or for all three of these tests here. Still one, so I'll get rid of the dot only. Okay. 6 passing. Well, that's good. Really, it's 5. But let's get rid of that comment. And then we're down to the final one here. Remove the fiddle of 3 tests. So let's get this third one. We'll just follow the pattern we've got for the others. So this is going to be resort 3. I can see why we left the... let's pull these 2 lines together just to make it a little shorter. And now I'll put this Sierra in. Okay. And let's see. Now in here, this is where we'll actually add the... I'll actually spell it correctly. Sierra is created here. And yeah. And then down in here, we set up in the before, and so in our final test, we have to do this third visit. So we're going to push Sierra, one that we created, and we've got to set the relationship, of course. So we set 1, which is Heavenly's next. Sorry, visits of 1. It was next to be a Sierra. Just do it directly to the object. Alright. So that should do that. And then this is a removing, so that's the setup. So this is a removing a visit. And as you can see, this method doesn't exist. So this is the functionality that was actually missing. So we're going to put it in right now into the ski trip class. So, because that's the thing that manages that's the class that manages the visits array. And we just pass which one we want to remove. So the first thing, there's a couple of things we got to do. We got to update the references, the linked list references. So we actually need to update the one before this one that's pointing to this one, its next, and make that now point to not the one we're removing, but the one after it. So it's going to be +1. So it's going to be visit index +1. So we update those, and now we actually remove it, which once upon a time I might have written left and right using substring and concatenated them together, but there's a new way in modern JavaScript that you can do that. You can just remove this element by using splice. So you you pass it the visit index where, and you say 1, and that just cuts it out of the array, just like that, which is, there's not a lot of temp variables or numbers to get wrong, so that's a pretty nice method there. So that's now been implemented. I got the 3 of those. Now we need to have an expectation. Let's say that our ski trip visits. Let's check the should be the what was the first and the third, Tahoe, Sierra, and it's an array. Okay, so let's and then we could also, at least right now, check that the first visit's next, so that's Tahoe's next, is equal to Sierra. So we can make sure that relationship's correct. And get rid of the comments. Alright, let's try it out. Yes. Alright. So that's looking pretty good. Just do have a missing semicolon. What's this? The test file. Yeah. Nope. Oh, sorry, test file. As I said, line 6. Yep, after resort 3. Alright, so let's add that there. And we'll take it back off here. I wasn't complaining about that. Let's try running that. Okay. 5 passing, 1 failing. Now they look the same. Array of 2. And there's a familiar issue here. Yeah, just the 1 failure. That I get down to it. Have used equal, and it should be EQL. So let's change that to EQL. Just compare the values. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. They're all passing in real now. And we got the application code up there. Let's get rid of this. So there's our application code. I don't think there's a lot of refactoring we could do at this point. Here's our test code. And we can get rid of this. We do that down below. And that's looking pretty good. Now we have some real tests to actually cover, what's really going on. And I think we're good to go.